I guess you probably can't understand how I felt when I walked into an antique store in Toronto and I saw something that had been lost for 62 years. But I was immediately struck and I fell in love with this trophy. I also fell in love with this trophy though because I know your town. My son who's here today with his wife Emily and my granddaughter over here, Beatrix, they lived in Sweets Corner in the old Cochrane homestead. And I hadn't realized that at the time all this was going on until I sent an email to a fellow by the name of David Carter. Is David here?
Say David.
Okay, so David, who works at the museum, so then he said to me, well, I said, I want to move this along. What do I do? And I said, can I talk to the mayor? So the next minute he had sent me an email for the mayor, Paul Beasley, and then the mayor sent an email off to David here, David Hunter. So thank goodness for social media and all this electronic stuff, because even though this is 110 years old, we couldn't have put that together without a few emails back and forth, but I'd never met David. And in the course of a phone call, we said, I said, look, I don't believe in failure, so if we're going to do this, we've got to make it happen. And he said he'd help, and people around here would help, and so we created this little group called the Toronto-Windsor Hockey Friendship Society. And before you leave today, take a card for it, because we've got have a little card here with the trophy on it. And officially, you're a member today by being here for this ceremony.
Great.
When I was a kid, I had a lot of trouble in school. And the one thing that I excelled in, because my mom and dad were such hockey fans, was hockey. And I don't play hockey anymore. I do skate. Do have a stick still in the garage. But it was when I was a kid growing up, hockey was, we were fanatics, absolute hockey fanatics. My sister's here, Maureen. She's driven in from Toronto. We were so fanatical, we called her Maureen the Hockey Game. So when this came along, it just seemed a natural thing to do. And spoke to my wife Marissa, who's here, and I said, we got to do this. This is an important thing for the town of Windsor. It's also an important thing for Canadians to understand, to appreciate, and to value our heritage. So she said to me, well, talk to 5 of your friends and see if they'll help out. And I did that, and I came back and I said, my 5 friends will help out. She said, talk to another 5 more. And we were up to about 25 people in Toronto who said, Sean, do this. It's the right thing to do. So, I just want to, I want to thank the town for being so open. I want to thank David in particular for helping to pull this together. I just think it's magnificent. A lot of people back in Toronto said, well, Windsor, where's that, right? They thought it was Ontario and the Detroit border. I said, no, there's a whole other story to be told here. And so there's a lot of people now that know about Windsor. And, the Cup, actually, I thought at one point it probably needed an agent. All the calls that were coming in, from different places. I did bring a little something else though, and I wanted to give it to David because I know he's a Leaf fan.
Ask them when the last time they won a cup.
No.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that was 45 years ago. I can give as good as you get.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Okay, but 1921, 1922, when this cup was being played for, okay, the Toronto St. Pat's won the Stanley Cup. If you look on the Stanley Cup, you'll find the name of the Toronto St. Pat's. So I thought, kind of in memory of the Toronto St. Pat's, that our friend David here So, David, you'd honor us if you'd put this on.
Well, when Sean formed the Toronto-Windsor Friendship Society, a little bit of a connection, like Windsor Maple Leafs, one of the most famous teams in the province of Nova Scotia, maritime hockey. Toronto Maple Leafs. And the Valley Maple Leafs.
At least you look like a hockey player, Dave.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Absolutely.
Sean, I think David played on that first Citizen Cup.
Yeah, no.
Good shot.
No, I told you the story about, you know, for me when I was a kid. Yeah, it's about the history of the game, but it's so important, right? I mean, I coached my kids, and you know, I hope my son will be coaching, or you know, whether it's baseball, hockey, what have you. Sports, music, all that stuff is so important to our children, you know, and
Absolutely.
it's just so important. So, you know, yes, it's about our heritage, but it's also about everything we do going forward, and you know, remembering this, but also what we do with our children. So, you know, I see this as really something that will help people remember what we need to do going, you know, forward, and working with our children, coaching them and mentoring them, and they're the next generation, and you know, they are the future. So this is also about the future.
Well, thank you, Sean.